Good day and welcome to another session of Elvis Math Tribe tutorials. So today we are going to learn about how to use our calculator to solve linear equations, that is, finding for unknown variables in an equation. Now, without wasting much time, let us move on to today's examples. So for our first question, we have 5x equals 20. So in inputting linear equations into the calculator, what you have to do first is to first input the whole equation into the calculator. So that is what we are going to do. So I expect you to follow my demonstration. So we have 5x equals 20. So let me input that particular equation into the calculator. 5x. Now, before we can input the x into the calculator, we have to use the combination alpha and bracket close. Why is it that we are using that combination? Because the alpha and the x are of the same color. Let us say instead of we wanting to input the expression x, we rather want to input the percentage sign. So for the percentage sign, we'll have to use the combination shift and bracket close. Why? Because the shift and the percentage sign are of the same color. So the color of the alpha and the shift plays a very important role when inputting equations into the calculator. So for the x, we'll rather use the combination alpha and bracket close to input that. Why? Because the alpha and the x are of the same color. The alpha is a red and the x is also a red. So that is the 5x. So we have 5x equals 20. So for the equal to sign too, now we are not going to use the manual equal to sign on the calculator. That is, we are not going to use this particular equal to sign, but rather we are going to use the equal to sign on the CALC. And when we check that particular equal to sign, it is also having the same color as the alpha, which means we have to use the combination alpha and CALC. That equal to sign is on top of the alpha, so we use the combination alpha and CALC, alpha and CALC. So that is the equal to sign that we've inputted. So equals to 20. Now we've successfully inputted our linear equation. So what is left for us to do is to find for the value of x. When you are solving this thing manually, what you have to do is to divide both sides by 5. And after dividing both sides by 5, you can see that the value for x is equal to 4. So let us see if the calculator will give us the same answer. So what we have to do next is to ask the calculator to solve for the unknown variable in this particular equation. And how do we do that? We will have to ask the calculator to solve. Now when we check on top of the CALC, we have a particular button called solve on top of the CALC. And if you want to activate that particular solve, meaning we have to use the combination shift and CALC. Why? Because the shift and the solve are of the same color, which means you have to use those combinations. So shift and CALC. So the calculator will ask to solve the value of x, and then you subsequently press on your equal to sign and you patiently wait for the answer. So that is it. The value for x for our first question is 4. So x is equal to 4. Now let us move on to the second question. So for our second question, we have 3x plus 1 equals 2x plus 5. So as I initially stated, we'll have to input the whole equation into the calculator. 3x plus 1. So for the x, if you want the x on the calculator, you have to use the combination alpha and brackets close as I initially stated. 3x plus 1 equals, for the equal to sign, you have to use the combination alpha and CALC, equals 2x plus 5. 2x plus 5. Now we have successfully inputted our equation into the calculator, and what is left for us to do is to simply solve for the value of the unknown variable. And how do we do that? We have to press on shift and CALC. Why? Because the shift and the solve are of the same color. So in order to activate the solve button, we will have to use a combination shift and CALC. So that is what I'm about to do. Shift CALC. So the calculator will ask to solve for the value of x, and then you subsequently press on equal to, and then you patiently wait for your answer. So for that particular question too, x is equal to 4. Wow, that's nice. But if you try to go on the manual way of solving, you'll have to group like terms. After you have group like terms, you do your algebraic expressions by adding the like terms and subtracting the like terms too. Then you subsequently find for the value of x by dividing both sides by the constant that is attached to the x. That will quite be cumbersome in instances of multiple choice question. So if you know how to use the calculator, you wouldn't have to stress yourself to use your pen and paper to manually solve this particular problem. So you can simply go by my demonstration. Now let's move on to the third example. So for the third example, we have 3 bracket x minus 2 equals x plus 8. So as I initially stated, we have to input it as it is in the particular question into the calculator. So you have to input it as it is in the question into the calculator. So 3 into bracket 3. So this is our bracket open sign, x minus 2. So to get the x, you have to use the combination alpha and bracket close. The bracket close minus 2. Then I'll close the bracket, equals x plus 8. So this is the equation that I have inputted into the calculator. So we ask for the calculator to solve for the value of x. Shift and CALC. Then we press on our equal to sign. So the value for x in this particular question is SAR. So that is basically how we input the expressions into the calculator. So what if the particular equation involves a fraction? Then how do we input that into the calculator? So that is where the fourth and the fifth question comes into place. So follow me as I demonstrate it to you. So for the fourth question, we have 2x minus 1 all over 3 minus x minus 2 all over 4 equals 1. So we have to input it as it is into the calculator. So it starts with a fraction. So we also start with our fraction sign. So this is our fraction sign. Numerator, we have 2x minus 1. 2x. So this is the combination minus 1. And then I come down 3. That is the denominator. All minus another fraction. So I'll make use of the fraction sign again. X minus 2. Then denominator 4. So if you want to navigate in that particular equation, you use the replay button, this particular area. So if you want to go up, you use the up. If you want to go down, if you want to go forward, if you want to go backwards, in that order. Equals 1. So that is the combination for the equal to sign, equals 1. So I've successfully inputted my equation into the calculator. So what is left for me to do is to solve for the value of x. So I use the combination Shift and CALC. Then I subsequently press on my equal to sign and patiently wait for my answer. So the value for x in this particular equation is 2. Now let's move on to the sixth question. So for the sixth question too, we also have another fraction, but the variable in this particular question is y. So in checking this particular question, instead of using x, you will be tempted to go and use y. But this is what you have to know. In inputting equations into the calculator only knows of x. So in whatever question that you are given, so if the variable in that particular question is not x but any other variable, when inputting that particular question into the calculator, you have to use x in place of the variable. So in the case of this particular question, we have 2 over 3 into bracket 3y minus 1. So when we are inputting that into the calculator, in place of the y, we will use x. Why? Because the calculator only knows x when solving linear equation. So let us do it together. So we have a fraction, so we have to start with our fraction sign. So this is our fraction sign. Numerator 2, denominator 3. Then I navigate to the right side. So it's multiplying, that is into bracket 3y minus 1. 3y. So you'll be tempted to go and do this. You go and press on alpha and then the SD. Why? Because on the SD we have y. So you'll be tempted to go and do something like this, which is wrong. So instead of this, you have to rather use x in place of the y. Alpha and bracket close. Minus 1. Then I close my bracket. Okay. Minus another bracket of y plus 2. So in place of the y, I use x. X plus 2. Equals 1 over 3. So equals another fraction of 1 out of 3. Out of 3. So that is it. I have successfully inputted my equation to the calculator. So what is left for me to do is to ask the calculator to solve for the unknown variable by pressing on Shift and CALC. Then I subsequently press on my equal to sign and patiently wait for my answer. Okay, so the value for x in this particular equation is 3. So let us move on to the last question. So when we check the last question too, we have a fraction. So that one to start with a fraction. So what we have to do is to start with our fraction sign. So I press on my fraction sign. Numerator 2, denominator 3m. Numerator 2, denominator 3m. But because we are the calculator only knows x when solving for linear equation, we use x in place of what? The 3m. 3x. So instead of the 3m, we input 3x plus another fraction, but this fraction is a mixed fraction. That's 2 whole number 1 out of 2. So this is how we input mixed fractions into the calculator. Now when we check on top of the fraction sign, we can find a mixed fraction sign, and we can activate that particular button by pressing on shift and the fraction sign. Why? Because the shift and the mixed fraction sign are the same color. So if you want to activate it, then it means we have to use that combination, which is shift and the fraction sign, to activate the mixed fraction sign. I hope you are following my words. So shift and a fraction sign. Then I input the value. So we have 2 whole number 1 out of 2. So 2 first. Then I navigate to the numerator 1. And then I come down 2. So that is the 2 whole number 1 over 2 that I have inputted. Equals 1 over m. Equals 1 out of m. But as I initially stated, the calculator only knows x when inputting linear equations. So I press on my alpha and my bracket close. So that is x in place of the m. Then I ask the calculator to solve it for me as we did earlier. Then we subsequently press on our equal to sign, and then we patiently wait for our answer. Okay, so x is 0.133333333. So if you want to convert this particular decimals into fraction, what we have to do is to simply press on the AC. So press on the AC, then we come to ANS. So we tap on our ANS, and then we press on our equal to sign. So the calculator will convert it into fraction for us. So the answer for x is 2 out of 15. If you want to convert this particular fraction into decimals, we just press on our SD. So 0.13. So the bar on top of the 3 means it recurs. That is 0.13333333 to infinity. So that is the meaning of the bar on top, and that was the answer we had for the x. So now, for the 7th question, as you're trying, you can put your answer in the comment section. I will review it at the appropriate time. So the is to sign is just the same as the division sign. So in place of the is to sign, when inputting it into the calculator, you use the division sign. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope we also had an amazing time together. Make sure you don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, because there will be more amazing content like this. Stay tuned by subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching.